Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So, take two. Something is still wrong with the chat, guys. I'm sorry, but if you can comment, go ahead and leave the comments. It's okay. I'm going to try to watch the live on my iPad, and hopefully that helps me see the comments. But welcome back to Transaction Care. I go live every Tuesday here on YouTube as well as on TikTok. Technical difficulties are a part of the job. You just have to deal with it, pivot. I also didn't have lunch yet, so it was a perfect opportunity for me to go grab lunch real quick and come back to my desk and restart this live. So thank you for your patience. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop them in the comments. I'm hoping I can see them. So hold on. Let me check on my iPad right now, actually, and see what's happening. So it looks like you can chat. I just can't see the chat. So go ahead and leave comments. I'm watching the live on my iPad, so I can see the comments and then just answer the questions directly to you in the live. And then now we're going to restart the TikTok live. All right, I'm back. I am back. All right. It's kind of cool. All right. So we got the chat over here. We got the chat over here. We got the TikTok over here. Let me fix my lighting. I was going to order a sandwich, but I ran out of time because they're closed now. But how's everyone's week so far? How's everyone doing? It feels a little chaotic. I'm not going to lie. I don't feel as settled right now because I'm covering someone else's transactions at the moment. And getting used to doing my same job a different way is quite the adjustment. And it's something, it's challenging in the best way because I'm able to see my job done from a different lens, as also as well as from the lens of someone that has a high volume of transactions. So it's helping me with my efficiency. It's helping me with being a better business person, a better transaction coordinator. It's also helping me to definitely, push me towards doing things that I actually enjoy and love. And I'll be honest, transaction coordination isn't always what I enjoy and love at this point in time, but I've been doing it for 20 years. So that happens. That's a part of life. I like to challenge myself. I like to push myself out of my comfort zone, even though yesterday was a struggle. Day one of anything, the first year of anything, the first month of anything brand new is always going to be difficult. And yesterday was definitely one of those difficult transitional days in my business. So hi Talia. What's up? What's up? What's up? So let me know if you have any questions, but I'm just talking about how right now I'm covering another TC's business while she's on vacation. And this all stemmed from me posting on another platform just saying, hey, if anyone needs help this summer, let me know. I'm available to help. And someone responded, and here we are. It's happening. So I'm covering their business, and thankfully they have a team. So I work solo dolo, where meaning I don't have a team. I do everything, which is not the best. I don't recommend it if you are looking to grow your business or expand in any way. I don't recommend doing everything solo dolo unless you're making enough money to where you can handle the workload and you have a consistent flow of business, then hell yeah, keep going, keep doing it solo dolo. But if you're someone like myself in the next year or two looking to expand in different areas of my business, I eventually am going to need help, and I'm definitely going to um, you know, consider that as a part of my business pretty soon. So it's interesting being in someone else's files and transactions and seeing how they do their systems. Um, and because we're doing the same exact job, but just different ways. And the challenge has been navigating that as well as navigating how to ultimately get the job done in the most fast and efficient way possible, without skipping a beat or messing things up or delaying things any worse. Like I said, it helps that they have a team, and I'm learning how to structure my business better, as well as being able to help other TCs who want to take a vacation and helping them be able to do that, because it's not easy when you're self-employed and you want to take a vacation. It can feel like you're exposed when you have to turn your business over to someone else to monitor, to watch, or to handle. And I'm in the place right now where I'm helping this person out. I asked on Facebook, and why I got to that point was because I actually said this in my newsletter. So if you haven't joined my newsletter, check it out. But I was talking about how running a business on your own is tough, but what's even tougher is getting the actual business, and how do you get clients? And in this time in the industry, maybe I'm not putting in as much effort, but I haven't gotten I got a referral about a month and a half ago, which is great. But since then, I guess you would kind of call it a drought of new business. I do have a steady flow of business in the background from my recurring clients, but in terms of getting new clients or figuring out or really fleshing out like how I want to structure my Patreon, my coaching business, how I want to show up on social media, I sometimes feel like I'm working three different jobs, and that can get overwhelming at times. So I'm constantly in a place of like, let me try different things. Let me experiment here, and part of that experiment has been helping other TCs in their business and helping them to have a little bit or a lot of peace of mind when they go on vacation, because being self-employed, working from home is great and all until you actually want to go outside and enjoy your time for a long period of time, taking vacations. But then who's going to cover your work? Who's going to who's going to understand the language that you speak when you do leave, and be able to communicate with the realtors and the brokers that you work with without risking you getting fired? Because being self-employed in the real estate industry as a transaction coordinator definitely has, I don't know how to describe it, but realtors tend to panic when you don't respond to them right away. It's giving very much, are you still working for me? Did you quit on me? When all I did was not respond for half a day. And mind you, I'm not the type that responds the second I get a new email. Within the hour, yes. And these are coming from realtors that I don't work with that frequently. So for them to panic and think I quit on them is ridiculous. But that's just the mindset that realtors have, because they're coming from a cutthroat environment themselves. Their clients are on them. Their clients are pressuring them to get the home sold. Their clients are pressuring them to get the highest bid, the highest offer accepted, and then buyers on the other side of that are struggling to make sure that their funds are in order, that they have the money, that their lenders and their mortgage is good to go, and that they have the best interest rate. There's a lot that goes on, and there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of money involved, so I can understand if a realtor comes to me frustrated or flustered, so I can't take that personally, and I do my best to not take things personally. But if I feel like if my boundaries are being crossed, or if I feel like someone is disrespecting me, I'm going to say something, and that took a long time for me to get there. I wasn't always in this place of like, if someone disrespects me, I'm going to handle it. I used to just suck it up and keep it moving. Now I'm like, no, we're going to talk about it. Conflict resolution doesn't have to be negative. It can be impactful and positive, and a simple check-in. It doesn't have to be this elaborate argument or result in anyone getting fired or reprimanded. it just is what it is, right? Let me see. So I don't know how long I'll stay on this live, but if you guys do have any questions, let me know. Let me fix my light. Hold on. Because the phone. I'm also live on YouTube. There we go. There we go. So much better. So much better. But ultimately, it's interesting. But my Patreon is active. It's live. Go to patreon.com/transactioncare. And that's where I'll be doing a lot of this, but more in a community group aspect. So if you want to join that, I'll go ahead and I can't even chat. Hold on. Yeah, I can't even chat. What is going on there? I have myself live on this side on my iPad. But today was just one of those flustered days, and I feel flustered. I think I'm going to go live again tonight just because I'm not really, my energy is not all there right now. I'm kind of distracted, to be honest. Having to cover another person's transactions is, it's an adjustment, and it's only been day 2. Thankfully, she's not going to be gone that long, but the adjustment to having to cover someone else's business is interesting. So if you're out there, if you've been sacrificing your vacations because you don't want anyone to cover your work or you don't want to be exposed, take the vacation. Take the vacation. And sometimes you got to take those first couple of vacations with your laptop. I still travel with my work, no matter if I have it covered or if it's a slower season. For my birthday recently, I went to Japan, and basically I went to Japan for my birthday, and the whole month was slow. It was quiet. I didn't have anything pressing or nothing. I thought I'd gotten everything done before I left. And my first day there, this realtor is just like blowing me up. He's just calling, texting, emailing about his transaction. I'm like, no joke, this transaction has been sitting for months. This transaction has been sitting here for months. And the day I leave and I'm across the country in a whole different continent, you need me to work on it. And in this situation, I didn't even tell my realtors that I was going out of town because I didn't think it was necessary. I'd gotten everything done beforehand. And all of a sudden, it's like they sense it. It's like a spidey sense. Okay, who's in here? Who's in here? Shout out to you guys. All right. Maninder 0199. Do I know you? Hi. What's up? What's up? Where are you checking in from? But I'm just talking about being self-employed and traveling and navigating that when you're a solopreneur, and how realtors just have this sense of like, oh, they must be away from their desk. Let me give them some work, or let me check in with them, and then, sabotage them to sabotage their trip. It's crazy. It's crazy how that happens. So let me know if you've traveled. When you travel, do you ask for help? Do you have someone cover your business? Do you have a partner that you work with? And if you hear spaghetti in the background, I'm eating spaghetti for lunch. But I'm covering for someone's business right now, and I'm taking a break. I love that she has a team, because the responsibility is not all on me. Every transaction doesn't fall on me, because her team has it under control, and I'm just there to serve as an extra set of eyes to help manage, with my experience and take it from there. Because and whatever tasks they need me to do, I just do them. And if I have any questions, I just reach out. And good thing, the good thing about it is that the realtor is available and she has been answering questions. I'm trying not to bug her too much. Yesterday was tough because it was the first day I was covering her business, and it was definitely quite the adjustment because Mondays are Mondays, right? Mondays are always going to Monday. And in yesterday's case, I was locked out of some of her accounts, and she wasn't able to get the codes to unlock it because of the reception of where she's at. Um, so I just was starting to get discouraged. And then I was starting to feel like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never worked in this city or this particular part of the state. I don't want to mess it up. So I felt myself, it was really an exercise in getting to know myself, because I realized, like, in that moment of panic, I started to run away and I didn't even want to be in my office. And I have to fix that. And now that I'm aware of it, it's hard to unsee it or ignore that. Unless I want to be toxic and problematic and ignore my own red flags, but I'm not. I'm 40 years old. But I realized that yesterday. I was like, okay, I'm doing something new. Excuse me. I'm doing something brand new. But okay, I'm doing something new, but it's not brand new, because I know how to work a transaction in California. Do I know how to work a transaction in Southern California? Not necessarily, but this person has templates and checklists set up in a way that it's almost foolproof. Like, I'm going to succeed. So I took that, but then getting locked out of her websites and having to reauthorize certain platforms, it was frustrating because we lost hours. And the way that, like, we both have the same exact job, but we do it in different ways, if that makes sense. Um, and I'm learning different ways to be more efficient in my own business, but then I'm also seeing gaps in her business where I'm like, I wonder if she'd be open to this suggestion. So, and we only got on like 2 Zoom meetings before she went out of town, which is okay. Because I'm learning. This is the first time I ever reached out, publicly, to ask people that are not people, ask transaction coordinators, if anyone needs help this summer. I'm, getting business from realtors and brokers right now for me is tough. And honestly, I don't even know if that's the route I want to continue down. So what was the next best thing for me to continue to make an additional stream of income was to reach out to transaction coordinators directly. And some may think like, oh, you're kind of working backwards or you're working down. Like, aren't you a business owner? And I'm like, yeah, I am a business owner. And I'm like, I don't want to make my day any more difficult or harder if I don't have to. So if people, that are growing their business need help or my advice or my guidance, why not offer that as a service? And doing mindless tasks like sending disclosures or tagging things in DocuSign is easy. Set your price, 20, 25, $30 an hour. Ask TCs if they need help. And I guarantee they will. If you're someone that wants to become a real estate transaction coordinator, but you don't really have the full scope of knowledge or experience, start as a VA. Work your way in the system. That's how I started. I wasn't a VA, but I was an office admin. Yeah, it was 20 years ago when everyone worked at an office and the internet didn't exist the way it does today. But I learned from that experience, like, if all of this were to just go away, or God forbid, I'd have to start over. I can take the skills that I have and just see who needs my help virtually. You know what I mean? And then I can track it on my YouTube channel and document it as vlogs, and continue to build my community and just work back up from the ground up, from the root up, but also with experience and knowledge. You know what I mean? So a lot of things are being uncovered right now for myself internally, in terms of like my habits. And again, I felt like running away yesterday. I did lay in bed for a good hour in a state of panic and just like disarray. I'm not gonna hold you. It doesn't matter how many years of experience you have, how long you've been a solopreneur or an entrepreneur, you're gonna have those days where you just wanna lay in bed and not talk to anyone. You don't even wanna have your phone notifications on, just like you just need stillness and quiet, and that's where I was yesterday. But after I sulked for a little bit and kind of went through the motions of what I was, my own self-sabotage my going through the motions of my own self-saboteur, I was able to recover, and I got back to my desk in the evening, and whatever I missed or whatever I wasn't able to get to, I faced it and I was like, dang, I could have done better here. I could have, executed this better. I shouldn't have walked away so long. Um, but I was like, you know what? I can't change the past. This is day one of me doing this. So why am I putting so much pressure on myself to get it right the first day? Everything is still under control. I knew it because I've been working in real estate for 20 years. I knew nothing was going to change after one day because it was going to get done. It was going to get done no matter what. And it's getting done as we speak. And I'm actually working on stuff right now as I talk to you all for this person. But what it comes down to is that I didn't give up. And I had to talk myself. I had to get into my imaginary toolbox, right? And talk to myself and say, okay, in this situation, moving forward, how do I want to better myself? But also what can I do now to make sure that I don't fall into this same you know, trap of emotions or freeze, or want to run away. How can I be better tomorrow? And I started with just affirmations. Okay, tomorrow's going to be better. I feel more confident. I'm going to go into tomorrow more confident. I'm going to take time in the morning to really just be still and use the morning to set the day off properly and not overly stress myself thinking I have to do everything or I have to monitor every email that comes into her inbox or that I'm messing up or doing something wrong, because all I can do in that situation is ask her directly, like, hey, am I messing up? Am I missing something? Am I doing this correctly? Because when you're covering someone else's business, you're not going to fully know if you're doing things right, especially if they're on vacation trying to get away from the business. So yesterday was kind of a somewhat of a bust, but I did get some work done. I was able to help, so I felt good about that. And I just went into today. I was a little anxious at night. I won't, I was having trouble sleeping last night because I was just like so like anxious about making sure all the websites work today properly, making sure that I was up earlier than usual so I can get my morning routine in so it wouldn't impact the rest of my day. And I was able to just sit for a good 20 minutes to sit and pray and meditate on my thoughts and just let my thoughts kind of process themselves and digest and allow myself to hear my own thoughts. And then I went on with my day. I spoke to my best friend this morning, so I was able to just kind of go in a little bit more calmer today versus yesterday. I just woke up like full speed ahead and I didn't even need to go that fast yesterday. So today I took a chill pill. No actual pills were involved, but took my vitamins and I just went straight into it, and I communicated with her team individually instead of relying on the group chats that are happening right now, because those get overwhelming and everyone's talking about 10 different topics in those group chats. So I messaged each person individually. Thankfully, right now it's only two of them, but I think there's three other people. And I said, hey, if you need me, this is the better way to reach me. I'm not getting notifications on certain platforms. So I think I'm missing things. So if it's faster for you to get it done, just get it done. Otherwise, please direct message me here and I will, with the address, with the realtor's name and the urgency, like when is it due? And let's go from there. And I think that I lacked that yesterday. I lacked that ease because one of them was out of town. So I jumped into these files like somewhat like blind, like this, and basically ended the day feeling crappy. Then this morning, again, going back to my imaginary toolbox, I was like, okay, I don't want to start tomorrow off on on the wrong foot. So what can I do differently? And like I said, I messaged each person individually, and I'm pretty sure that helped them feel a little bit more comfortable with me coming into the situation, because I don't want them to think I'm a threat or that I'm here to take their job. Like, this is just an additional service I made up. I just made up on the fly like a month ago or maybe 2 weeks ago. And I posted it onto Facebook, and I was like, hey, um, if anyone needs help in their business. And I only commented this if in the Facebook group for California. Like, if you go in there, it's probably still there. But I sent a message to the TCs in California, and I was very specific. I was like, if anyone in San Francisco, if any TCs in San Francisco, Bay Area need help this summer, because there's a good chance I might go back to school this fall. And if you guys have questions about that, going back to school at 40, stay tuned. um, Oh, and I'm also dropping a vlog tomorrow, talking about this whole journey being self-employed at 40, and I have different topics. The first one was about starting over at 40, the next one was auditing my life, and the last two were about my goals and how I'm executing them, and kind of like my step-by-step plan, and what I've done differently and what I'm doing the same in order to get my goals and my dreams accomplished. So if you haven't subscribed on my YouTube, go do that. And for those on YouTube, hi, I see you. I don't see you, but I see there's people in there. So leave a chat if you have any questions. But basically, um, going back to, covering for someone while they're on vacation, it takes time. It's an adjustment period, and I had to get into my leadership bag. I had to get into my leadership mind. I had to get into my captain mode, and not just kind of let the currents take me away. I had to like steer the ship and get back into that mode, because this realtor is trusting me with her business. And although I'm not actively in every single file, she reached out to me, and my intention is to help, is to use my experience and to guide her team. And again, I don't want them to think that I'm a threat. So I thought it was important that I individually reach out to them and say, hey, I'm here to help. Just let me know what address and when you need it by. And that has made a world of a difference yesterday compared to today. So for anyone struggling out there with speaking up for yourself or advocating for yourself, or you feel like running away at any point in time in your business, just pause, take a break, reassess the situation, and how can you be a better leader in that moment once you return back to yourself. Try to come back to yourself mentally, emotionally. If you need to take a walk, if you need to rehydrate, if you need to grab something to eat, like I have my lunch right here. It's been one of those longer mornings where I need to go shopping also. That's the other thing. So I didn't really have time to make breakfast or a decent lunch at a decent time. And I was like, I got to get on live. I got to make sure I do that. I show up. And then the chat wasn't working. So I have it streaming on my iPad so I could read the chat if anyone decides to chat on YouTube. And then I'm back here on TikTok. Vanessa, what's up? I'm talking about this week. So this week, I'm covering another TC's business while she's traveling. I'm covering another TC's business while she's traveling. So I put this post on Facebook like 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. Because, getting business is tough, no matter who you are. And maybe I shouldn't call it tough. I think the idea of being consistent in all areas of your business can be tough, and being in the place where I'm at, where I'm pivoting more into coaching and even content creation. My TC business, as I've mentioned, has kind of taken a back seat. So getting new business, unless it's a referral, which I got a referral last month, I haven't gotten new business on my own. So I was not forced, but I'm forcing myself and challenging myself to get creative with ways that I can earn additional income, but also challenge myself in ways that I haven't ever done in my business. And I was like, well, if realtors and brokers all seem to have a TC right now, and if people aren't, you know, running to, if I haven't really fully built up my one-on-one coaching business yet, although I do have Patreon, so people are joining that, and I'm officially like launching everything or just being more available in the Patreon August 1st. This is kind of like a soft launch just to see, if people would even bite. Oh yeah, share this live, double tap the screen, because it gets more people in here. We can talk about these things and I can help more people. Let's try to get it to 100 likes. Double tap that screen. And yeah, it's interesting covering someone else's business because we do the same exact job, but we do it differently. And there's so many different transaction management platforms that are available. There's at least like the top 5 that I'm aware of. Maybe there's more, but she uses one that I don't use, and it doesn't have a certain feature that I heavily rely on with the platform that I use. So the way that they audit is completely different from how I audit. So that has been a huge, huge, huge adjustment, is being in someone else's files, but then having to audit it in a way that I'm not used to is challenging. And as someone that is working on being less of a perfectionist or less of a or I want to be more adaptable, I'm realizing like, oh man, okay. I mean, she mentioned that she's going to be changing the TC management platform that she's using currently to a different one, which thank God, honestly, because this one's okay. Like if I should rank. No, I don't know if that would be nice, but would you guys watch a video of me ranking the different transaction management platforms, kind of like how Keith Lee does food videos? I don't think that would be fair, only because I don't use all of them, but I think it'd be a good idea to just start the conversation. I have a video talking about some TC management platforms, but I don't have one doing all of them, or at least the ones that I use or have used. And now that I've used this one, I'm like, oh, this one needs a lot of work. You say yes, Vanessa? Okay, I'll add it to the list. Right now I'm doing a 10-week vlog series, just kind of documenting my journey being self-employed. But again, I want to make content that you guys want or are interested in. And a lot of people do ask me about different TC management platforms. And we've talked about them here on these lives as well. But if you guys have any other questions or ideas on vlogs you want me to produce, I will gladly do that. I'm working on bringing the podcast back, but I didn't hit a wall with the podcast, but I'm in a place where I'm like, okay, what is the actual theme of my podcast and what do I want people to get out of it? Whereas before it was very real estate centric, right? And I think real estate is still kind of like the root of this all in my journey in real estate. But then initially with the podcast, my goal was like, oh, how can I help people learn about the real estate industry from a more caring lens, right? Because a lot of people get into real estate and think, oh, I'm going to make the big bucks, but they're not fully aware of the intricacies of being self-employed and how much effort and management that requires. So with the podcast, I was able to oh shoot, right on, Junior. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you for the bouquet of roses. That's what's up. I appreciate you guys. Junior and Vanessa, you guys are like my top supporters, with or without the roses. I really appreciate you guys being in here each week, because it goes a long way, you know? And if I can just help one or 100 of you or however many people, then, it's great. But if there are areas in your business or in your mindset right now where you guys may, you know, be excelling at or struggling with, let me know. Drop them in the comments, or, we could work it out either here or, one on one. It doesn't matter because, or we could do like something on Patreon. Because there's always so many different topics that can be discussed, but it's sometimes difficult to just land on one, unless someone says, yo, I need to talk about ways to feel more confident as a transaction coordinator, And it often comes down to like just knowing your contracts and knowing how to communicate and knowing how to follow up and knowing how to. I keep getting these random requests. I think people are trying to come on and like battle. But what it comes down to in running your business is not just communication with like the people you're working with, but do you know how to talk to yourself? And not in like a, cuckoo way, but in a way where it's like yesterday I had to coach myself to feel better about today. Because yesterday, I'm covering someone else's business, and yesterday was really crappy. Yesterday was a struggle fest because the TC that I'm covering with left on Sunday. So her first day out was yesterday. So I was trying to do my best to like, hype her up, like be excited. Don't worry about us. We got this. And then of course, Mondays are going to Monday. And I wasn't able to get into one of her accounts, and she was struggling with getting the codes because of the reception of where she was at. So that took almost like 2 hours of back and forth, 2 hours gone. One of her team members that was supposed to take over this particular team decided to call out. So now I'm like, damn, I don't even work in this city. I don't even know how these transactions work. And then on top of that, they have their own checklist and system on ways of doing things. So struggle fest number 2. And then I finally was able to get back in. But by then I was exhausted mentally because I was also doing my own transactions. I was also just feeling discouraged that I couldn't kick off the day on a good foot, and everything kind of just fell apart, and I got barely anything done for her. And she was asking me like, did you do this? Did you do that? And I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm so confused. I'm stuck here. I couldn't get in here for hours. So I was feeling really discouraged at the end of the day yesterday. And I had to get myself out of that funk. And I could have easily just gotten back in bed and just ignored all my feelings I was experiencing, or I could have easily gotten back, or just went and watched TV as if none of this happened, and then just woke up today hoping that everything would work out. But last night I really had to coach myself through what I was going through in terms of like self-sabotage. Am I avoiding again? Which I was doing all those things. That's like my default setting. No matter how much coaching or therapy I've gone through, I'm more aware of it quicker, but it's more so it still happens. Just because you go to therapy or coaching doesn't mean like, yay, I'm healed. It's like, okay, let's build the self-awareness, then let's get some tools in place to, so when these things do occur, you know how to, fix it or mediate it, or mitigate the situation a little bit better. And that's exactly what I did for myself last night. So sometimes I wonder if me becoming a certified life coach was more so for me than it was for you guys. And just being like, okay, this is what I go through when I'm doing something brand new. And I experience the first hiccup. I run, I avoid. And I was like, I can't do that. I can't do that. And I kept saying to myself, I want, my first thing was like words of affirmation. Tomorrow's going to be better. I have more confidence about tomorrow. I know it's going to be better. It's going to be better. What can I do? What can I do differently? How can I approach this? I'm not alone in this because thankfully she has a whole team of assistants and people that help her, so we're helping each other out, and I had to just really put on my captain hat this morning, and really pray and meditate on today before I just jumped into things. Because yesterday I just jumped into things, like, as soon as the morning hit, I was just like, "All right, let's go in her inbox," and then I got stuck, and I was like, "What the heck?" So, in a way, I'm grateful for what happened yesterday and that kind of hiccup, but then at the same time, I'm like, "Ooh, that was rough." Now I can't it's hard to unfeel those feelings of, like, disappointment, or I let this person down after I just told her, like, "Oh, go on vacation and enjoy yourself," but I also let her know directly. I was like, "You know what? It's Monday," and she understood too, like, it's Monday. Mondays are always a little out of whack and, um, different compared to other days of the week because everyone's coming off from the weekend, and I just had to give myself grace and be like, "Okay, we're gonna be okay. I feel more confident. I'll reach out if I need help. I'll try not to bug you too much," but I think that's also just a reality. It's like no matter how far you are out in the world, if you're running a business, you can't turn it off fully. You could try your best, um, but even if you don't, even if you're not in the files or you're not working or checking emails, your mind is still like it takes a couple of days when you're on vacation or you're taking time off to really, like, calm that part of your brain off, turn it off or at least calm it down because, talking from experience, I'm like, I'm always like, "Okay, did I do this? Did I do that?" Before I can fully just, like, let my guard down and, you know, let the drinks start flowing. And then I really forget, like, "Oh, yeah, I forgot I run a business or that I do this or that." But that's the beauty too of, like, me wanting to help other TCs or at least this one particular TC out while she's traveling because a lot of TCs that I know or that I talk to, they're running excellent businesses, but they don't really have that. I don't want to call it work-life balance, but if they don't, there's not really a sense of harmony in their day to day. It's either a lot of working or a lot, followed by a lot more working. And I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair. And I think that was one of the main reasons why I hopped on social media and I decided to start a YouTube. I decided to start a podcast. I decided to start this TikTok live, like going live, is because how can we help each other out? And if you're just starting out as a real estate transaction coordinator or you're interested, I'm encouraging people to start as a VA, right? And think about different ways that, if you were to cover someone in their business, if you're really great at organizing, how can you help someone prepare to go on vacation, in terms of like time management or their to feel more confident, what big tasks can you take off of their plate? Like, I will do this task the entire time you're out. There's different ways to get into the real estate industry, but yeah, I feel like I'm kind of rambling right now. I need some water. I've been talking for like an hour straight now. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger. Yes, yes. And shout out to Kelly Clarkson, because every time I hear that saying, I think of Kelly Clarkson. Oh, and I always forget I need to get a better setup in my room because I got rid of my office chair. And I always sit like super crooked. But with all of that said, stay hydrated, eat food and snacks and things of that nature for your energy and for your health. You can indulge here and there, but as I'm getting older, I'm realizing like I can't just eat a burger in the middle of the day like I used to. I used to work next to a burger spot, and it was either turkey burger, cheeseburger, bacon cheeseburger, club sandwich almost every other day until they added a deli. Then I would go to the deli. And then there was a cafe under us, and then down the street there was the burger spot and Round Table, but I hate Round Table. So I didn't have to worry about being tempted by them. But back then, I could eat all of that stuff and be fine. I mean, yeah, I'd be a little tired, but it didn't matter. But now I'm like, no, I need to like recharge throughout the day because that impacts like my thoughts, it impacts my ability to get jobs done, get the work done on time, to be present for you guys here on these lives, to take the ideas that I have and actually create a plan or a strategy around it. And it's, no one really prepares you for that part of life where it's like you can't just eat a bag of M&Ms or snacks throughout the workday because then you'll just be, I'll be knocked out. So anyway, I don't know how I was looking, I have my lunch right here. That's why that's why I got on that little food tangent. But what else? Yeah, and I'm still reorganizing my office. I don't think that's ever going to stop, but I got all the main pieces in here. I moved my big desk back in here. I got new curtains, as you see. The lights look better at night than they do during the day. I forgot I can close the curtains now because I only had the sheer curtain, so it's causing all this light to come in during the day. But I forgot those are blackout curtains. So I'll probably test out the lighting later so I can have a better aesthetically pleasing live. But man, I hope everyone's having a good day so far, a good week. Again, this is one of those just like unconventional weeks for me where I'm doing someone else's business and adjusting to how they do things and the different places that they work at. So I didn't really have all of the energy to come into this live today, but I'm glad I did anyway, because I was having some major technical difficulties earlier. And I thought we just had an earthquake. No, I think I just knocked my table. Let me look that up. Did we just have an earthquake? Let me see. What's today's date? The 30th? Oh, no, but we did have one 2 days ago. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I think I don't think we had an earthquake. But let me charge my phone. Hold on, let me charge my phone. There we go. Whoever else is in here, do you guys live in California? Because it looks like there was like a small earthquake 2 days ago in Fairfield, and then a smaller one 3 days ago about 9 miles from San Jose, 6 miles from Brentwood. Fascinating. But I also live like pretty close to like a freeway, so sometimes I feel like when big trucks are driving down the freeway, I can feel it here in my house. What was that? And that's the other thing I'm getting used to is like all these different sounds. um, Dealing with another person's files is they use different chat systems and notifications. So I'm like, okay, which one was that one? Let's see. Okay, let's see. But for the rest of the day, I'm gonna get back and finish her work. And then starting next week though, it'll be August, which I can't believe it. Can you guys believe it's already August? Like I remember planning or just talking with like friends and family about like their travel plans and birthdays and things of that nature, because this is the year that a lot of my friends, we have all turned 40. And it's weird because I thought like this is going to be this jam-packed year where all of us are traveling and partying, and all of a sudden everyone turned 40 and like became a recluse. And I have, everyone's just like home more. And I'm like, dang, like summer's almost over. I might go back to college this semester. So I really got to kick things into gear if I want to, be disciplined and get that part situated. I need to get out all the fun now. I'm still going to have fun, but if I'm deciding to go back to college, I have to really like, you know, figure this all out, this whole situation. But um I was like, it's already August, like tomorrow. Okay, no, Thursday. To me, out of this whole entire year, July was the fastest month I've ever experienced in my life. And I don't know if you guys felt that same way. Excuse me. Tomato sauce. I had spaghetti for lunch. But I don't know if you guys felt that way. And I know time is kind of like, you know, a broad, boring topic, but I'm just tripping out that we're about to be in August. And the things that are happening in August, I remember talking about in January being like, oh, we have some time. We got time. It's not for a few months. And few months flew by quick. Okay. I'm halfway to 41. Is wild. So the rest of the day, I'm gonna the rest of this week, I am committed to helping out this realtor in her business, being there for her team, you know, doing my best to be extra set of eyes and hands in this situation. Um, what else? New vlog dropping tomorrow at 8 a.m. So hit the notifications so you can watch that, as well as comment if you can relate to the topic, if you want to, add your 2 cents in there. But also, I keep getting the requests. But what I'm getting at is starting in August, I'm going to be more committed to the lives. I'm probably going to add another day where we go live, but I don't know if it's going to be public or if it's just going to be Patreon exclusive. So stay tuned for that. But for sure, every Tuesday in August, we are going live at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Unless it was like today where I had technical difficulties, then 2:30. But no, the commitment is Tuesday at 2 PST. Look out for a brand new episode of the podcast. Look out for a new episode of the podcast as well in August. I'm just going to do a check-in episode as I'm still continuously like finding ways to rebrand. That's what I was talking about earlier. Just how to rebrand the podcast, because earlier it was very real estate centered, whereas now I want to focus more on like personal development, personal growth, career development, mental health, and how I can create like a new intro. Might rename the podcast. I don't know, but for those that do listen to the show, definitely want to tune in for that. So Mondays, you're going to get podcast, my newsletter. This is all free stuff, you guys, all free stuff. The Patreon is not free, but it's $7 a month for the first 10 people that join. I think we're at like 4 or 5 members now, which is cool. Because I haven't really publicly done like a rollout for it. I've just been telling people intimately, like on these lives or in my newsletter, or if they DM me, I'll send them a link. But Mondays, podcast, newsletter, Tuesdays, live stream. And in August, I'm hoping to do longer live streams. So stay tuned for that. I don't know if it's going to be once a week or one time in August where I do just like a straight 8-hour live stream. So stay tuned for that. And then Wednesdays, vlogs. And then Wednesday also you get this my second newsletter, which is basically a link to everything that I've done. The live stream, the podcast, the YouTube blog, how to work with me, one-on-one or on Patreon. So the Wednesday is like the TC weekly like recap, and then Monday is like TC wisdom newsletter. So all of that happens Monday through Wednesday. Sundays I post a TC short on my YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. I mean, TikTok I go live every Tuesday. TikTok I'll just pop on randomly throughout the day just to see who's on live. Um and but my main focus right now is the TC business, YouTube, coaching, and everything else is afterwards. So that's what I have going on. But August, I think I'm just going to really double down on going live and just see what happens because I love it. I love it, and I want to keep building out my community. So for those in here, keep double tapping the screen, share this live with your community, share it with your people. I'm here to answer questions, talk out if you're struggling with anything in your business or wanting to get, into the business, I'm here to answer any questions. Otherwise, I'll just talk about myself the whole time. I'm also live on YouTube as well as here on TikTok. If there are other platforms you feel like I could be successful on, let me know. I'll give it a try. I tried Facebook the other day. I haven't really explored LinkedIn. What do you guys think about LinkedIn? I would not be here if it wasn't for LinkedIn. I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you guys that story. I've talked about it a couple times, but basically the old job I used to work at. So there's two parts to this. The old job I used to work at, they were like, we want all of our employees to have an updated LinkedIn account. And I said, why? Because in my mind, I'm like, that's how people find you for work. And back then, like in 2016, 17, it was really easy to find work on there because it wasn't as oversaturated as it is now. And they were like, yeah, the bosses want it. So everyone needs to have a LinkedIn account. And I was like, okay. So I add my information, my experience, which is that company. It was my one and only real job, my entire adulthood up until I quit. So I made the LinkedIn account. I don't know, maybe 2 months later, I get a message saying, hey, we're looking for a transaction coordinator. Are you interested? Here's the job description. And I read the job description and I was like, I don't know if this is what I do as a TC, but I'm going to entertain it. Right. And I used to work for a small family owned business. So going to them was about this stuff was normal, like telling them like, hey, I'm thinking of taking this job interview. What do you think? And I didn't really do those things. They did. And they were like, well, they didn't want me to do it, but they were like, if you want to, just do it. If you're interested, just go explore it. And I said, okay. Because I was very, very comfortable. It was like an unhealthy level of comfortability I had at my job. Like even being comfortable can be unhealthy. Like if you sit in one position too long, you'll start get blisters. And maybe you don't feel them until you move, but that's pretty much what happened at my old job. I was so comfortable, I didn't even feel the blisters. So once I took this interview, they started to like change on me. Like the way they treated me, I could feel they were like trying to push me out, but didn't know how to, because I was the only one that could do the job at the job. I created my own job security. So I take the interview and they left a great impression on me. And apparently I left a great impression on them because although I did not get the original job posting, because I told them, I was like, hey, I don't do a lot of this technical stuff. Like they wanted me to build, like be a part of their app building team. Like I didn't have skills in that. And I was honest. So I was like, hey, I don't do these things as a TC. These are two separate jobs. And I was just honest. And I said, hey, maybe if you separate and extract these skills into its own position, I think you'll find someone faster. So anyway, fast forward maybe, I don't know, 3 months later after I took that job interview, I get a voicemail saying, hey, it's me again. I'm we're looking for a transaction coordinator. It's not the same job you applied for before. And I'd went through like 3 different people. I went through all the CEOs, all the CFOs. Like I went through everyone in that last job interview. It was interesting because I had never gone through that before. And it was for a brand new real estate startup. So it's kind of cool to kind of be in there. Like they were ready, like they were training me in these job interviews until they realized like I had no tech experience like that. So it was fascinating to see how fast they worked. But I'm glad I advocated for myself and I was honest in that moment. But fast forward, they called me back in January and I was already struggling with being at my office because I could tell like they were starting to switch up on me. And they were like, "Hey, we have a TC position open, but it's not for the TC job that you applied for last time. It's just a straight up TC job, but you have to work from home." And I just like hung up. I pressed stop on that voicemail so quickly and I called her back and I said, "I don't know. I don't care. I'll take it. I'm ready to quit. I'm ready to do this on my own. I'm going to do it." And there was a lot more that went into that decision. I wasn't just like being irrational. It was like 2 years of like trying to leap and leap and leap and eventually quitting. But LinkedIn, if I had not had, if I didn't update my LinkedIn, I would not be sitting here today. It's amazing how one decision that trickled down from upper management and ownership into my to-do list that I was resistant to doing changed my whole life. Literally changed my whole life, like actual factual, like TLC says. Had I not updated my LinkedIn in that moment and put it out into the universe that, hey, this is what it wasn't even the LinkedIn where I was like, I hope I get a new job. It was like, let me do the LinkedIn and let me go do my thing. But then as things were unfolding behind the scenes, it was all in my favor. But it was because of that one little step. So if you're in a position right now where you're kind of stuck or you're hesitant or you think like the things that you've already put out into the world aren't working, check on them, revise them, but also know that like things are working in your favor in the background. You may not know or understand why. Even telling this story right now is making me realize and remember like, oh my God, it was like such a small change in my day that I made that 8 years later is still impacting me, and I don't think I really took the time to thank or be grateful for LinkedIn until this very moment. So I don't know, go update your LinkedIn right now. I updated mine maybe a month ago, but it doesn't, um, it yeah, it's fascinating. So all that to say, if there are other platforms you want me to create content for or on. Oh, and shout out to you guys for 157 likes. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Keep double tapping that screen so we can get more people in here. I'll join the fun too. Let's get it to 200. But basically, and if you're in the YouTube live, shout out to you. I'm reading the chat on my iPad because the chat is just not working. I don't know why, but it's just not working. But no one has left the chat, so that's okay. So if you're watching the replay, last week we went live for like 3 hours. I don't think I'm going to do that today. I think I have another like 5 minutes in me for this live. But if you do have any thoughts or questions or want to know more about my journey, or if you want to share your journey, just know that I'm willing to even have you in my live. So just hit like the request button. I don't know how to, let me see, guess. If you ever want me to invite you to be on the live, let me know. That goes for TCs as well. You don't have to be someone that's just starting out. We can even do like a live interview on here. So many possibilities with this app, you know what I mean? And even me coming on here, going live, whether it's here or on YouTube, can have the same impact as LinkedIn did for me, in the future. So I'm just going to be diligent and commit to it. You know what I mean? And now that I have more self-awareness and have the experience of running my own business. I'm aware, like, okay, well, if something's not working after a certain time, you don't have to stay in it too long. You can like stop the bleeding, or you can check in and pivot or take it off of your to-do list. You know what I mean? I don't care how much. No, I no longer am impressed by the length I've invested in a career or even a person. It's more so like the season's done. I'm moving on. No hard feelings. The love was there. Now it's gone. And if I keep holding on, again, comfortability can be, being comfortable can also be painful. So take that how you will. Thank you, Vanessa, for the heart puff. I love that. Thank you so much. But it's true. Like I think it's not just because I turned 40, I just had this mindset. I think it was always brewing in my mind and in my heart of like, dang, like I really stayed at a job for 15 years because I thought that was what I was supposed to do, or I just felt like, well, I'm able to do all the fun things with the job. So why do I have to go anywhere else? When it's like, because Lil, there's so many people you have to meet. There's so many people you have to help. There's so much more fun to have that I was limiting myself to even seeing, and sometimes I feel like even now I'm limiting myself and I'm trying to figure out. I don't want to say I'm trying to figure it out because I don't think that's for me to figure out. I think I'm just actively taking actions towards things that I deem as like appealing in my life, or that are in alignment with my life and my goals, and everything else is either a distraction or a bonus. And I talk about that a lot, is like knowing myself is knowing like a lot of things have to be that black and white, and that I have to have it so clear to the point where it's like I'm easily distracted. So knowing what my priorities are, knowing who my priorities are, and as long as I'm feeding into those like people and things and places, all those nouns in my life, then I will always have an accomplished day. Even if I feel like, dang, I overspent over here. But I got to create memories with my family or my friends, you know what I mean? So it's a lot of reframing. It's a lot of reframing and navigating those new thoughts and ways of doing things. So anyway, but I appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to Junior, shout out to Vanessa for the love on here. You guys are always in here showing me so much love. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to go live again this week. If there's a particular day or time that works best for you guys, let me know too. But stay tuned for the Patreon. Oh, shout out for the roses. I appreciate that. But the Patreon, I'm going to be releasing my workflow in there. It's right now it's a Word document. It's nothing fancy. I realized that thinking I needed to have like these fancy marketing materials was holding me back from just putting it out there. So I was like, I had to identify what was the wall and get rid of the wall. So now I'm like, you know what? People on my Patreon just want the stuff, and then once I get to the next phase of like making it fancy, then I'll bring it out to the public. But for now, it's like, hey, this is how I do this. Take it as you want it. I'm not going to, we'll edit it as we go, but I'm not going to make it super fancy to the point where I can't. It's debilitating. I don't want to get into that point again, but vlog tomorrow. I'll be back here next week. I can't wait for August. I'm honestly just like, I feel like I'm in this rhythm, in this routine with everything that I've been wanting to do and focus on. And it's just a matter of me staying consistent and discipline in that. So, but there's a lot of free content dropping, but also still working behind the scenes. If you know anyone that needs a transaction coordinator in San Francisco, keep me in mind. And if if there's anything in particular you guys need, let me know. My DMs are open. You can contact me there. Stay encouraged, stay uplifted. If you need encouragement or uplifting, I'm here. Just holler, hit my DMs. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. You know what I mean? Not just about these lives, but about what you're doing. Celebrate yourself, you know what I mean? And keep growing and learning and take care of yourself. That's why I call it transaction care, because there was a lot of care lacking in the entrepreneurial real estate space from my POV, and wanting to bring that care back into the game. So I hope I brought some care back into your day today. If you are new and in here, I hope you hit that follow button. For those that do follow, so much love. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm going to end this live in about a minute, but shout out to you guys. I'm going to go finish my lunch. Then I'm going to get back to work. And once I'm done covering for this TC, I'll feel more like myself, and we'll really take these lives to, the next level of conversation. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for your energy, your time, your gifts. Thank you for your inspiration and your motivation. And have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. And turn your notifications on, because I might just pop up and go live again randomly this week before next Tuesday. Stay tuned. And is anyone still watching Owning Manhattan? I only got through one episode. It's hard to watch work shows when you're not working. All right, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. It was an excellent live. I'll be more energized next week. But I thank you for being with me. I'm going to end the YouTube one. Subscribe. And my name is Lillian Hernandez, aka Lily like the flower, because we're learning and growing together. And this is Transaction Care. I'm giving you the keys. There are no gatekeepers here. Care for yourself. Care for your wealth. Your time is worth it. All of you. Talk soon.